Alright guys, so we got to talk about a very strange incident that happened out at a McDonald's in Utah involving a father by the name of Sadaat Johnson, who was arrested for brandishing his gun at one of the McDonald's workers because apparently they messed up his order, okay? They put some cheese on his Big Mac or something like that, you know what I'm saying? But that's not really the story here. The story is actually what happened as the father was getting arrested and his kid's reaction to him being arrested. Because apparently this guy was raising some killers, right? He was raising some future gangsters. As they allegedly took out a gun, right, and tried to shoot the cops as they were arresting their father because they wanted to free their daddy. Now, body cam footage has been released of this incident, and boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is very, very, very disturbing, and it once again shows that we are raising a generation of criminals, and that there are just some people in this country that should not be parents. I'm so serious about that, and this is one of those guys. Because again, he's raising criminals here. That's at least what it seems like. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip.
McDonald's employees grabbed their cell phones and started recording as police confronted a man who had just threatened them with a gun in the drive-thru. He said they messed up his surf and turf burger. As employees hid, the cops outside tried to figure out who fired the gun.
Kids!
To their disbelief, the shooter was a 4-year-old child in the father's car.
You alright, kid?
Cops rushed the kids inside while other officers handcuffed the father, Sadaat Johnson.
The little kid?
Police say the 4-year-old told them, quote, "I grabbed my dad's gun and tried to shoot the police so he could be free and do what he wanted."
Let's wrap this up.
good?
Let's get a crash ready.
Cops realized this was a close call for them and the kids in the car.
And he's the one.
Our freaking heads were all right there. I mean, had it been lower?
The father pleaded guilty to child abuse and aggravated assault in June. He was sentenced to 120 days in jail as well as probation.
This is a child who thought it was okay to pull a firearm and shoot that firearm at police. I've never seen anything like this in my 28 years in law enforcement.
Child and family psychologist Dr. Douglas Goldsmith is also shocked by the shooting. He says children tend to react differently when seeing parents under arrest.
They respond with fear, they respond with anxiety, they respond by crying. We have never seen a child, I have never seen a child try to harm or yell at or be angry with a policeman as retribution for arresting their parent.
Goldsmith says young children model what they see and what they're taught at home.
An older child may be able to take a moment to say, I'm not going to be shooting at the cops. The 4-year-old would think, this is really a bad choice. No, the child would think, Daddy's hurting, Daddy told me to do this, I'll do it.
Both Goldsmith and Sheriff Rivera say this is a serious wake-up call to parents that what you show or tell kids can lead to life-threatening moments like this.
That's just unbelievable to me. Somebody's taught him that, and that's the scary part.
Facts. And that is the scary part about this story, guys, is that father more than likely taught those kids to shoot the police, okay? In fact, allegedly, during this interaction, he told the kids to shoot the police, right? The child said that they shot the police because they wanted to free their daddy, and the daddy told them to shoot the police. Now, on body cam, it's not exactly certain when the father actually gave that command, but it doesn't really matter, right? The fact that a 4-year-old knows how to pick up a gun and to shoot it, right? Especially shooting it at the police, again, is extremely, extremely, extremely disturbing, okay? Some police officers could have got killed, right? They could have got killed easily, right? By a child, or one of those children could have got killed, right? Because one of these police officers could have been trigger happy, right? And responded to the gunfire by shooting into the car and killing one of the kids, okay? Again, that situation could have been a lot more tragic. But again, it happened because you have irresponsible parents, okay? Again, it reminds me of the story of the mother that spoke out about how social media was criticizing her because her daughter snuck out of her house at 3 a.m. with a bunch of other teenagers, and they ended up beating an old man to death, right, with a traffic cone, right? And she's like, oh, it's not my fault. I'm not a bad parent, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you are a bad parent, right? You are a bad parent. We have stories about how teenage girls are running around beating people up, right? Beating people up, okay? That type of behavior is learned and taught behavior. That type of behavior comes from parents, right? And we have parents today raising a generation of criminals, right? That's what's happening. Those little kids were going to be raised to be criminals. They were going to be raised to be cold-blooded killers, right? They shooting cops at 4 years old. What do you think they're going to be doing at 16, 17, 18 years old? They're going to be killers because the father obviously is a lunatic. I mean, the dude pulled out a gun on some McDonald's workers because they got his order wrong, right? Because they put some pickles on his Big Mac, right? They didn't give him some sweet and sour sauce. Guy pulled out a gun. It's those type of behaviors that kids are watching and observing and picking up on and saying, oh, this is okay, right? This is what we should be doing in society, pulling out our guns on fast food workers because they get our order wrong, right? And this is why everybody should not be parents. This is why we should not be encouraging everybody to have children, okay? I know there's some conservatives out there that really want everybody to have kids, but I'm not one of those people, right? This is why I'm very pro birth control, right? Obviously, I'm against abortion because I don't believe in taking life, but I'm just saying I'm pro birth control for this very, very, very reason, because these people should not be having kids. There are people, particularly people who are raised in some of these environments, they're living in some of these environments where violence has become a part of the culture, that should not be having kids. They should not be having children because they're raising children in these environments where they're going to pick up these learned behaviors that ultimately is going to lead to them being a detriment on society, right? They're going to be dependent on the government, and they're going to be a detriment to society because they're going to be career, lifelong criminals, right? And that is exactly where these kids were headed. They were headed down a road of being lifelong criminals. And it really blows my mind that the state did not take these children from this father. Because, I mean, to be quite honest, if there's a case, a situation where the state should step in and say, look, you know, maybe you shouldn't be raising these kids, maybe we should intervene, this would be one of those cases, right? How in the world does a 4-year-old learn how to shoot a gun and to shoot a gun at police? It really doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. It blows my mind that they would do that, right? That a situation like this would occur, okay? So, hey, again, this situation right here highlights exactly why I don't believe that everybody should have kids, bro. We shouldn't be pushing that on everybody, okay? Especially people that are in some of these, you know, more violent neighborhoods and have some of these more violent backgrounds. Because, again, these kids are picking up on these behaviors and, you know, they're becoming thugs and criminals themselves. Again, not good for society. Not good for society. Not good for taxpayers, man. I'm telling you. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.